Hello and welcome, this is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries. And it's time to move on to another mission. We're still on Eden, and if we take a look at the orbital view, we'll see that there are two more missions. So we have one called Revolution, where the mission is to hold the battle line, and the other one is Governor's Mansion. Now if we look at the star system map, we can see that the VIP defense is going to be a medium threat level, whereas that hold the battle line mission is going to be a heavy threat level. So I'm going to start with the VIP defense, but before we do that, we're probably going to need to set up our mechs and everything. But why don't we go ahead and see what the mission's all about?
This is a high-profile defensive support near the governor's personal estates. Apparently, his family has been in seclusion here since hostilities began. The Lyran loyalists may be moving to take them hostage. Expect enemy mechs supported by groundcraft.
Alright, so first things first, two of our mechs that are currently in our loadout are damaged and cannot be used for this mission. So I'm going to have to take a look at the mech lab and see what we have. So if I go through the list, anything that's going to be yellow is going to take a week to repair, and anything that's red is going to take 2 weeks to repair at this point. Now, we could wait a week, and then anything that's yellow would turn white and be available, and anything that's red would turn yellow, and then we'd have it in another week. I am half tempted to do that, even though we would burn whatever our upkeep cost is. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we have first, what's available to us. So, Hellspawn took a lot of damage. We know it's going to need to be rearmed. So much so that I think I'm just going to strip out whatever weapons are in it, and we'll worry about that later. The other mechs that are yellow outside of my Mad Cat should have no weapons slotted in because they were salvage. And then outside of that, we have a catapult and an Argus that are ready to go. So those are two heavy mechs. Let's start with the Argus. If we take a look, we can see it has no weapons slotted in. I'm going to go ahead and change the paint scheme so that we're ready to go for that. And this is very similar to the Chimera, at least as far as the weapon loadout go. More or less, you have missile slot, energy weapon slot, and then ballistic slot. And a pretty heavy emphasis on ballistic weapons over in the right arm here. So with that being said, let's take a look at what we have for ballistic weapons. Unfortunately, nothing that's going to be light. I mean, this is a 60-ton mech, so we have currently 32 tons to work with. I may hop into the Argus, replacing the Mad Cat if we don't wait a week. A lot depends on whether we wait or not. And I'm just taking a look at what we have here. So there's nothing that we can really save ourselves on. We could up our armor by a pretty huge margin. Granted, we are using special reflective armor. If we switch over to normal Ferroferbius, you'll see that the things get filled out. More or less, you need more tonnage to fill out a special armor mech, but you get more overall armor, if that makes any sense. So, I think we're just going to max this out for now. Gives us 31.6. We could mess with that and get a full allotment, maybe remove some armor from the legs or something like that. But for now, we're going to go with 31.6. So looking at the loadout, we can only fit 2 slot size weapons in the torso mounts, so at most we'd be able to fit a large laser of some type in. We can fit LRMs in. 31 tons is a lot, though, to work with. Even if I filled in all these slots, there's no way we'd fill up 31 tons with that. So I honestly think that going with ballistic weapons is not a bad move with this mech. We could fit in these Clan Ultra AC-10s. We have a couple rotary cannons. which are kind of fun the way that rotary cannons work. It's like a much more damaging and longer range machine gun. It puts down a steady stream of fire rather than having a cycle time to more or less. Kind of similarly to the way the medium pulse lasers work, but not really. I mean, it is, as I said, kind of a constant stream of fire. But if we're not going to be piloting this, I figure, why don't we slot in a couple Clan Ultra AC-10s? And then what are we going to fit in besides? I honestly think some medium lasers would be good in here. We could fit in 4 for the kind of tonnage we have. This is probably going overkill, though, as far as things go. Oh, the long tom will be very interesting. This is a larger weapon. It's more or less an artillery weapon. I don't remember if it's actually something you shoot or it's more like you designate where the artillery strike's going to happen, because at least in the Battletech version of the game, a long tom artillery is usually an indirect fire weapon that may not even be on the map with you. Although I think you can mount them in mechs with special rules. Alright, so we've got one of those. And that gives us 8 tons. So we could put in a little bit of ammo to up the firepower a little bit. Now, as far as the chassis goes, there is no heat sink, so that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to go too heavy on the energy weapons, because if you go too heavy on the energy weapons, then the heat sinks are going to be more of an issue. And then maybe another weapon of some type. I still think the medium lasers is the right call with this mech. So what I'm going to do is go into the free market. We'll save this up for now. And it's probably fine to keep them on the same slot. And we're not going to advance time yet. We'll go in and we'll buy some just standard medium lasers. Should be fairly cheap. Oh, there isn't even any for sale. So I guess we'll be taking the clan type. This is where the sponsor that we have kind of impacts what kind of weapons you have available to you. So we're going to go ahead and do some bog standard ER medium lasers. I'm going to go ahead and buy that. And then we'll fill out the mech with those weapons. Now, heat might be an issue with this loadout. We're going to have some tonnage left over for heat sinks. So I'll go ahead and slot those in. And as I said, we can reduce the armor. I figure the legs is a good place to reduce. There we go. And then we can put in one more heat sink here. And that's not the most heat efficient mech, but I think this is not a bad loadout. And we've got extra ammo for the very heavy ballistic emphasis that this mech has. All right, well, I think that's a good loadout. I'm going to go ahead and save that on up. And I think this is a good weapon allocation. All right, so now that we've done that, it is very time-consuming to set up mechs that you're getting ready to use, and what have you. All right, I'm going to remove the jump jets. I've already stated my opinion on how I feel about jump jets. This is a very missile-heavy mech, although you can fit in a good assortment of energy weapons as well. And a 65-ton mech is, you know, it's a heavy mech. Not as heavy as it can be, but not bad. So if we come into our LRMs, currently we don't have much in the way of clan weapons still with the LRMs, although I could always pull them out of a Cougar or something like that. I don't know what kind of mechs we're going to have in reserve. It depends on whether I wait that week or not. If I wait that week, we're going to get some mechs back. For instance, I can continue to use my Mad Cat. And then as a result, I would be more okay with stripping out weapons from one of our Cougars or something. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple LRM-20s. And then we've got even more. I'm going to go ahead and put up the ammo amount as well, because this is very much going to be a support mech. And then after that, we can put in some energy weapons as well. We've got 10 tons to work with, although I would probably like to up the armor again. I'm going to go to a standard armor type and then up the armor. And I'm thinking two large lasers. Granted, we don't have the room for 2, or we don't have the numbers for 2. It's just one of those things where we don't have... Maybe I'll go with the medium pulse lasers instead. And we'll put in some heat sinks to mitigate the heat. And hey, why don't we put in a laser anti-missile system too? So I really don't know what else to spend this on. Although I could put in another medium pulse laser, but then at that point, we're talking about not a very heat-efficient mech. But you know what? I kind of like that firepower that this mech has. We've got good close-in and we've got good long range, and the armor factor on this mech is pretty good. I am a really big fan of the catapult itself. In any case, I think this is a good setup. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And no need to have a weapon group 3 when you don't have a weapon group 2. Okay, so we're more or less good to go if we were to go now. If we weren't going to wait a week for my Mad Cat to get back, and I'm not going to wait for the other Argus and the other catapult. Because at that point we would have, what, 4 or 5 heavies? That's pretty worth it in my opinion. I do have to consider the cycle cost though, so... Let me just take a look at that. And it costs us about $1 million to wait. You know what? I'm going to wait. A week's not that bad. So we'll wait a week. And then let's go ahead and go back into the mech lab, because I know I'm going to have to put in some more weapons here. One, Oh, I guess I didn't lose any weapons. I thought I lost weapons in the Mad Cat, but it must have just been the Hellspawn that lost weapons. Alright, we're still not going to get the Hellspawn back, but now we have another Argus and another catapult. So we have this Argus already ready to go, and then we have the other one. We could arm pretty much exactly the same way if we have the weapons. I'm not sure we do or not. But I thought that was not a bad setup. Let's go ahead and take a look at these weapons and see if we have the proper... I'm going to have to go and buy the medium lasers again, but we do have another Ultra AC-10, but we don't have the LBX to put in there. I could put an AC-5 in instead. It wouldn't be quite as good, but it would be slightly longer, it would be just as long range. Let's go ahead and do this anyway. And we'll again put in some extra ammo so that we're not going to run out. And then again, we're going to have to go to the free market. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and change the armor type to standard and then do that. And then we're also going to want to remove some armor from the legs. So we'll save that on up. And I'm fine with that being weapon group 2. And then let's go to the free market. And we're going to go ahead and buy some more of these medium lasers. And buy. Now, anything that we don't use, we can always sell later. And it's always good, I think, for the arena to have a good setup as far as, or a good selection to choose from. Because sometimes going heavy on one weapon type is, you know, not a bad strategy as far as the arena is concerned. Alright, so we're good to go there. And then finally we have a catapult. I don't know if we have the same weapons loadout yet again to get the catapult 13 set up. But we'll at least try. So first things first, we're going to remove the jump jets. And then as far as the weapons, we used LRM-20s. I don't know if we have any more. We have one. We could use LRM-15s instead. Or 2 LRM-10s, although that actually hurts us as far as tonnage goes. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and go with the LRM-20 here. And what was the other loadout we did? It was medium pulse lasers. We had 3 of those. So mostly we're just waiting for... They're there. Max out. And we need... go ahead and save that. Put that in weapon group 2. And we'll go to the free market. And we'll buy ourselves an LRM-20. There it is. There's only one for sale, so that's going to be it for now. And then we'll go over to the catapult, and we'll load in that LRM-20. And then we're going to need a couple tons here. And then we're going to do 3 heat sinks. Okay, I'm not sure if that was... Huh, you know what? It seemed like we got more armor with the other setup. I'm kind of curious what we did differently. Was the other one... Did the other one have more speed dialed in? Alright, I'm going to save this, but I'm actually curious because it looks like things are slightly different. Let me just take a look at the difference here. Oh, no, okay, they're the same. I just must have misremembered. Okay, well, we're finally done with all our setup. We got our mechs allocated. Now we have to put them where we want. I'm going to still run the Mad Cat because I think that is the best mech that we can run. I think over in this squad, I'm going to want the 2 Arguses up front because those are, you know, slightly longer ranged, or I'm sorry, closer ranged setup. I do like that Hellhound, though, in this. And then, oops. That's okay. The 2 Arguses are the same, so I just have to... Kind of weird that they're separated. Oh, there we go. There's the 2 Arguses. And then I'm going to go ahead and slot in one of the catapults, the Catapult 13 here. And then we're going to come over here. I'm going to give Hannibal the other catapult. And that should be all my heavy mechs. So we're all heavy here, 1 heavy there. And then we've got the Hellhound, which we're going to give to Spirit here. I believe. I'm trying to make sure I'm not making a mistake. So we've got the Hellhound. And then after that, the Uller is going to be replaced with the Cougar 6. I don't know if the Cougar 7 has weapons. Oh, no, actually, that's true. We have the Chimera to use. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Chimera for Scooter. And then we'll grab... You know what? I like the... Kind of like the Owen still out there. As much as the Cougar might be better overall, I like the long-range firepower the Owens is going to give us. And it's in the back, so that's good to go. Alright, we're finally ready to go for this mission. I apologize for all that setup, but when you get a lot of mechs that you got to set up, I mean, that was, what, how many mechs I had to build? 4, and it can take quite a bit of time, especially as you think things through. Let's go ahead and get into the mission, though.
I've designated the governor's mansion as Nav Point Alpha. If the Loyalists come looking for his family, they may very well not know which mansion they are after.
Castle, this is Spectre. We are on site at the estates. Everything looks quiet so far. Anything on SATCOM?
Negative, but I'm not getting a great feed currently. The Sky Forces are tying up most satellites in a major offensive to the west. You may be on your own for this one.
Roger. Tell the governor if he wants his family and their precious estates protected, he really ought to leave a satellite or 2 free.
Yes, sir, I'll tell him. I do have long-range radar and comm channels online. We're not blind over here.
Nav point Alpha reached.
Alright, so the objective here is just to protect the governor and his mansions. And as many enemies show up, we will need to deal with them.
Contact, 900 meters. Hovercraft coming up pronto.
Roger. Looks like they're coming in off the river. Let's go introduce ourselves.
Alright, so we're going to get up close and personal here with these condors. Alright, just going to be patient here.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
Alright, I actually got messed up there quite a bit.
Attacking the northeast mansion across the river. It won't take them long to realize that they're at the wrong house.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
Ah, I whiffed that shot. Come on, guys, finish him off for me.
Hovercraft destroyed. Looks like they were after the southern mansion.
Alright. I'm going the wrong way. Nah, let's turn around. We need to go to beta. Those hovercraft did kind of a number on me as far as my armor. A little bit more than I would have expected. Alright, let's go. So I'm going to have to be careful from here on out. Maybe not get so close. Alright, here's a mech. The flea. Might be able to hit it.
Engaging lance of enemy mechs moving up the river.
Oh, I might not have been in range. Alright, come on. There we go. Got a hit.
Nav point beta reached. Target destroyed.
Alright, knock that sucker down. Now this part should be relatively easy because of the how light these guys are and our comparative firepower.
Target destroyed.
Alright. Got an Osiris over here. Been a while since we've fought light mechs like this.
Enemy light lance has been neutralized. Sit rep.
Situation report as follows. Possible second lance of mechs inbound on your position. Unable to give 100% on that.
Alright, so we just need to scan the area and figure out where these other mechs are. I'm gonna go over to beta, because we're almost there anyway. And then from there, I'm probably gonna go... Oh, there we go, we got contact.
Damn, they want these people bad. Confirm visual on second
that was the
lance
wrong
of light
weapon.
mechs.
Target destroyed.
Yeah, fly up in the air, will ya? Okay, that was just one mech.
This is Castle. I read a third lance. Repeat, third lance moving in on your position. We might be in a little over our heads here, sir.
Third lance? This is turning into a full-blown battle line. Okay, people, let's finish this dance and get ready to pull back. Get a personnel carrier in here for the governor's family.
Alright, I don't remember where they're gonna come from. So we're just gonna have to scan the area and look for them. I'm gonna go up on Alpha here, just make sure they're not coming from that direction. But so far, nothing on the scope. Kind of weirded out by the fact that there was just that one mech there. I would have thought that there would have been another... Okay, I don't see anything over here, so they're not coming around this way. It's been a long time since I've done this mission, so I don't actually really know where to expect the enemy to come from. I bet you they're going to come from across the river. Oh, I see them. There they are. Go ahead and stop here.
This is Spectre. Looks like a mixed medium and light lance. Engaging.
Alright. Let's get in there and mix it up. So that guy went down quickly.
Target destroyed.
There we go, another one down. Okay.
Third lance is history. Area is clear of enemies. Inform the governor his family is safe and in need of relocation.
Roger, sir. Salvage team is en route.
Good news. Should be a pretty sweet haul. The Loyalists weren't sparing on the resources for this one.
Better news, sir. The Merc liaison was monitoring the conflict and authorized a hefty bonus for engaging above and beyond expectations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
The
that
bonus for engaging above and beyond came in at just over 2 million C-bills. Altogether, this was a very well executed and well-paid mission. The governor and his family have posted several notes of personal thanks to both you and the unit.
All right, well, that mission went really well. Honestly, the loadout we had was overkill. We're at the point where the mechs that we have are heavier than I think that you're supposed to have, at least for this mission. So it went pretty easily, honestly. We're pretty heavily armed. We got pretty heavy mechs here. So I think we can go right on to the next mission pretty easily here. We get a huge number of nobility points. We get some Davion points as well, so we're much more there at the moment. We got some more negative points for Steiner, so we're actually -3 Steiner points. We still have more infamy than nobility, but I'm hoping to turn that around as we go more and more through these missions. More or less, you're not... You have to go through these first two systems missions regardless, more or less, in my opinion. I guess you could avoid them if you wanted to avoid getting any infamy at all. But I think these two systems, the first two systems, Eaton and Haleron, are important to cover, so you're going to rack up some infamy just doing the missions. In any case, let's go ahead and put a cut in the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.